Spock, where do you think we should start looking for this? Brassica?
Logic suggests that they will present us with opportunities to come to them.
Captain, a message from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission. The USS Hood will take over for your current assignment.
Of course, the Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle. But be careful. Starfleet out.
Captain's log, stardate 6257.6. We have entered the Antares Rift and found spatial disruptions in the rift that make using warp engines extremely dangerous. Repairs are almost complete on the minor damage we suffered upon entry into the rift. We are continuing our survey using impulse engines.
My poor babies. Warp engines were meant to be used, Captain.
Communications are back online, Captain.
Deflectors at 93% power and increasing.
Captain, undoubtedly that phenomenon would explain many of the strange disappearances in this sector. Still, with our warp engines deactivated, our computers indicate we will be safe.
Communications are out again, Captain. Is anyone hurt?
If he was human, Mr. Spock's pride might be...
Captain, sensors failed to indicate anything unusual prior to the explosion. I would speculate that it was caused by an extremely unusual rift in the space-time continuum, a place where radically different physical laws apply.
And since it was different space-time, our sensors weren't programmed to detect it.
And it could happen again at any time without warning.
Status, Mr. Sulu.
Helm is not responding, Captain. The controls are completely dead.
Ideas, Mr. Walker?
I'm a security guard, sir, not an idea man. Still, if we could send out probes to detect these rifts, we might get a better idea on whether they're moving or not, and whether we should stop and make repairs or keep moving.
Scotty, what's our status?
Very bad, Captain. Whatever hit the Enterprise hit us right in our own neighborhood. The hull is breached 6 meters from the bridge. Beyond that, the instruments are useless. I can't read or send anything through these controls. We'll need a starbase to make this bridge functional again.
Scotty, how about auxiliary control?
Captain, I cannot determine the status of anything beyond the place where the rupture occurred. The rest of the ship could be dead as far as we know.
Status, Mr. Chekhov.
Captain, navigation is not responding. The circuits are as lifeless as a Stalinist.
Any ideas, Lieutenant?
I was barely able to reroute the necessary connections last time, Captain. Communications are completely useless now. We may be able to enter codes into the library computer and instruct others to send messages to us.
Captain, I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
We need to make communicating with the rest of the ship our first priority.
You get no response.
Captain, the library computer is online. Apparently, its circuits were shielded from the explosion. Captain, I have managed to program a message into the library computer. The first time a person accesses the computer, they will read our distress signal. Hopefully, they can code a reply into the computer, which we can access.
It's stuck. We're not getting out of here that way.
Captain, the transporters are operational. I request permission to be transported, so I can begin the adjustments to sensors as soon as possible.
Go ahead, Spock. Spock!
Captain, this bridge is useless. For our own sake as well as Spock's, we have to find a way to get out of here.
The controls are still not functioning, Captain.
Captain, that thing with the 4 arms wasn't Mr. Spock, was it? That beam wasn't some sort of transmutation beam, was it?
I don't think so, Mr. Walker. But the two have to be connected.
Captain, we need to get off the bridge. I recommend we keep monitoring the science station and see if anyone answers our messages.
Captain, what was that thing?
I don't know, Mr. Jekov, but I intend to find out.
I'm patching your log into the computer. You should have voice messages.
Captain, we've managed to jury-rig an evacuation tube through the bridge turbo lift. We should be able to keep it stable long enough for you to be evacuated.
Captain's log. After equipping ourselves with tricorders and phasers, we are now searching for a way to find Spock and return him to us. I've determined that the best place to start
Captain, it's a very good thing we took the warp engines offline.
How bad is it, Scotty?
That explosion was 42% stronger than the one that struck near the bridge. Our left warp nacelle is crippled, Captain.
I hope it's not a trend. Keep me posted, Mr. Scott. Kirk out. I could use advice. Suggestions, anyone? Spock.
I know, Captain. We miss him too. Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What does that mean, Solo? That we should have been more vigilant? How could we, if the sensors said nothing?
Well, maybe if Starfleet sensor designers would be quicker to modify their sensors to react to new phenomena.
You two are as bad as Spock and McCoy.
Awaiting orders, Captain.
Our highest priority is control of the sensors. We must find Spock.
I'll handle it, Captain. Remember, I was a physicist when I first joined the Enterprise.
Ah! Captain, look! Captain, what happened?
It appears our alien friend likes its privacy.
I could use advice. Suggestions, anyone? Spock.
I know, Captain. We miss him too. Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What?
Well, maybe if
You two.
Why do aliens always seem to invade the Enterprise?
Actually, Pavel, last year, 5 different alien species tried to take over the USS Regulus. The Enterprise is at it relatively easy compared to them.
But why do all the competent aliens always seem to invade the Enterprise?
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant. Kirk to sick bay. Bo, computer. Kirk to Scott.
Captain, I got bad news for you. This rift is affecting the hull of the ship. Our hull integrity is dropping fast.
How bad is it, Scotty?
It's at 92% and dropping rapidly. According to our system specs, if it drops below 63%...
Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity. Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this. Evacuate all people from the outer decks. Divert power from life support on those decks evenly to shields and sensors. Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our...
That will probably only buy us a few minutes, Captain.
Do it, Scotty. Every minute counts. Kirk out. Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant.
Captain, I've moved operations to Galileo 2 shuttlecraft. I've sent a message to Starfleet Command, and I've rerouted internal communications to run from here.
Lieutenant Uhura, what happens if the shuttle bay is hit by an explosion? That's one of the most vulnerable areas on the ship.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take, Mr. Sulu. I've activated the shuttle's shields for protection.
Good. Be prepared to evacuate the shuttle on my signal. Kirk out. Kirk to Scott. Kirk to sick bay. Bones, where are you?
Jim, what the devil are you doing to the ship?
I'm not the one doing it. Spock's gone, Bones. Someone took him from the ship. Some aliens that I've never seen before.
If you can get me a medical scan, I might be able to find some way to combat them. Make that a priority. McCoy out.
Is it my imagination, or is Dr. McCoy getting a little power crazed lately?
I'd say a lot power crazed, Hikaru.
Captain, there's some sort of barriers on the walls and the doors. Our sensors cannot penetrate it. A single life form, non-terrestrial, carbon-based. It doesn't seem to be doing anything to our controls. In fact, it's not doing much of anything. Captain, I'm getting a sensor reading on the alien. I'm sure Dr. McCoy will find this data very interesting.
You get no response.
And don't worry, Captain. If we can't get Spock back, I wouldn't be surprised if he got himself out of this mess.
I'd like to think so, but I fear there are limits even to Spock's abilities. Am I mistaken? Or do I get the impression the intruder could do a lot of physical damage if it wanted?
It doesn't need to. The Antares Rift is doing all the physical damage that is necessary. Well, Sulu, when the Enterprise is in trouble, who do they turn to save the day?
And guess who doesn't get the glory?
Or the credit?
Yes, let's not forget the credit.
Stop complaining, gentlemen. And I thought McCoy was a major league grouser.
Well, Jim, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and look at the mess you've made.
Here's the sensor scan, Bones.
Jim, this says our invaders are Vaurians.
Vaurians, but they're extinct. They died out at the time that Cochrane invented the warp drive. They were slaughtered in the Three Systems War.
Jim, I know my history, but I also know my anatomy. The alien in auxiliary control is a Vaurian. There's only one strange thing.
What's that?
This creature isn't capable of doing some of the things that you described. It's an ordinary Vaurian. No special organs, no unusual brain patterns, nothing that traditionally suggests superhuman feats.
Can you neutralize it, Bones?
Actually, it's a female. And yes, I know of something that can incapacitate it without harming it. A gas mixture. You'll have to pump large quantities into auxiliary control for it to be effective, but it should work almost immediately. Here's the gas, Jim. Be careful with it. There hasn't been a Vaurian in 150 years.
If we keep having these random explosions, Doctor, I'm afraid your sickbay is going to be overflowing.
I thought you were a helmsman, not the bearer of bad tidings.
I do many things well, Doctor.
Hello, Doctor. Nice weather, isn't it?
You're a navigator, not a conversationalist, Ensign.
Yes, I am. And an unappreciated navigator at that.
Don't worry, Doctor. I'm all right. You don't need to treat me.
Then why are you here?
I'm just with the captain. I'm feeling great. You don't have to...
That's fine, Lieutenant.
Young human male in excellent physical condition.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty.
Captain, the hull degradation is continuing. It's currently below 92%, but at the rate it's dropping, we have less than an hour before the ship is destroyed.
Captain, there has been an explosion near the shuttle bay. I'm fine. There has been no significant damage.
Any luck communicating with Starfleet Command?
I have made contact with the light cruiser USS Jefferson, sir. It will reach the edge of Antares Rift in 16 hours. The rift is playing havoc with communications.
Thank you, Lieutenant Kirkout.
Captain, if we get out of this alive, can we have shore leave?
Well, you hear what Mr. Scott said about us needing to go to a starbase.
Actually, Captain, I had something a bit larger in mind.
Chekhov lives for shore leave.
I do not. Well, maybe a little bit.
There's an awful lot of corridors on the Enterprise.
Is it too late to put in a request for an early retirement?
Scotty, if we hit any more of these random detonations, it'll be mandatory retirement for all of us.
Actually, Captain, I was hoping for a better pension.
This device stores special chemicals that are pumped into the ship's atmosphere when needed and is operated by the life support system.
I wish Dr. McCoy had given me the specs on that gas injection system. It looks like a rather clumsy fit.
I'll do it, Scotty.
You'd think that Dr. McCoy would have some respect for engineering.
Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support.
Let's see how our alien friend likes Dr. McCoy's medicine.
Probably as much as we do, Hikaru.
Mr. Kyle, can you transport me to auxiliary control?
Aye, sir. But I have to remind you how dangerous intership transporting can be. We've really been pushing our luck today.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Kyle, but we have to take the risk.
Look, something's happening.
I was hoping the alien would have been more communicative. Why hijack a ship that's already about to be destroyed, then kidnap a single individual, and then say nothing about why you are aboard?
It certainly seemed to have the power to destroy us. Why didn't it just kill us?
I don't know, gentlemen, but we'll find the answer soon, I promise.
I recommend we use the auxiliary control sensor to see where the alien went.
That's odd. All systems look normal. The aliens haven't touched navigation. What's going on?
Everything seems to be working. Library computer, external sensor.
Mr. Sulu, see if you can find where the Vurian went. Maybe that will lead us to Spock.
Captain, I'm detecting the Vurian. She seems to have vanished through a rift in space. I have the coordinates of her last known location. Nothing to report, Captain.
Mr. Kyle, you have the coordinates where the alien teleported?
Captain, you're asking me to transport you into another dimension. I may not be able to lock onto you there.
I'm aware of the risk, Mr. Kyle. You have your orders.
Aye, sir.
Energize. Captain's personal log. I have transported to many strange places in my day, but beaming into an alien dimension is something entirely unique. Only the extreme risk to my ship and my friend Spock would cause me to take such a drastic risk.
This doesn't look like a nice place to visit.
There's the Vurian. I don't see Spock.
He's got to be around here somewhere.
Although it looks like common dirt, the ground in this strange place feels softer, spongier. Each footstep you take here feels strange.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature indicative of some sort of psionic abilities.
Why are you reaching for your phaser, Mr. Sulu?
Captain,
Walker, I saw you sneaking up on me.
Sir,
You're all against me. You've gotten rid of Spock, now me. Who's next? Scotty, Uhura? Or are they part of this too?
Captain, snap out of it.
Something is definitely wrong. Such intense emotions. Don't worry, Mr. Walker, I'll protect you.
Sir?
Sulu, Chekhov. You know, I may never have told you this before, but I care for you all more than I can tell. Sulu, with your dedication, your unwavering sense of responsibility.
Captain, are you talking about me?
Chekhov, I've always been impressed by your enthusiasm, all those wonderful Russian jokes, your humanity.
Captain?
And you, Mr. Walker, with your rugged determination, I'll bet you had more girlfriends than anyone in the history of the Academy.
Actually, sir, I'm celibate.
What was I just saying?
No effect.
This place reminds me of Deneva. I lost my brother there. He was a few years younger than I was, and there were times when he annoyed me.
Captain?
And now he's gone. Gone. I'll never see him again, never tell him... To tell him...
Captain, snap out of it.
This place must be getting to me. I heard that, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't say anything.
You've always been saying things behind my back. You've always said I don't have enough discipline, that I don't respect my crew. You're insubordinate, Mr. Sulu.
Get hold of yourself, Captain.
What on earth was I saying? I'm sorry, Mr. Sulu. That was not...
Captain, I think we better get out of here as soon as possible.
No effect. No effect.
What are we doing here? Why did we come here?
Captain?
There's no way back. We'll never find Spock. We're trapped here forever, and it's all my fault. I knew the Antares Rift was dangerous. I should never have let the ship go in there.
Captain?
But let's find Spock.
No effect, Captain. I don't have enough knowledge of Vorian anatomy.
I don't know what's in that thing, but keep it away from me.
Captain, I'm sorry. For a second, I had an image that you all had died.
That's very strange. I just remembered the time I was shot to death in that Melkoshian frontier fantasy.
Interesting.
I felt that too.
A brief surge of conflicting emotions, anger and grief.
Interesting.
I felt that too.
A brief surge of conflicting emotions, anger and grief.
Will you leave me alone? Captain, I'm sorry.
Why, you... Oh. I'm sorry, Captain. I can't believe how those stones make me feel.
You Cossack! Why was I so angry?
The moment I touched the stone, I remembered an old romance.
No effect.
I would prefer if you didn't do that, Captain.
The moment I touched the stone, I remembered an old romance.
I don't know what these stones are doing to our emotions, but I don't like it.
I'd prefer it if you didn't do that again, sir.
Captain, may I suggest we avoid using the stones unless it's absolutely necessary?
Captain, please. I do not need my emotions disturbed.
Captain, why are you doing this? Why did you bring me along in the first place? Why did I ever join Starfleet?
Icaro, get a hold on yourself.
Captain,
What is it, Mr. Walker?
nothing, sir.
I don't know why I'm here. I've always been the junior officer, the one who's never done anything right. Why did you bring me, Captain? Why? I'm no use to Mr. Spock.
Ensign.
My apologies, Captain. I do not know what came over me.
That's all right, Ensign. It's a strange universe. It's a wonder we haven't all gone mad already.
A pouch from the Vorian life support capsule.
Captain, may I suggest we rescue Commander Spock first and then take samples?
We may not have time, Lieutenant.
But it feels like minerals to me.
Even so, rescuing Spock is our highest priority. Let's get moving.
It's some kind of life pod, Captain. I believe it is of Vurian design.
Spock, what have they done to you?
Fascinating. Emotional intensity of a previously unknown level. Our link with the Savant acts as an amplifier. The more minds in union with him, the greater the level of emotion. And happiness is a powerful emotion.
Spock, do you want this?
Happiness is a human desire, Captain. I am a Vulcan. I want to be free of emotions. This is the antithesis of my desires.
Spock!
Captain,
There have been incidents where Vulcans who were deliberately exposed to emotions went insane. Fortunately, I do not appear to be in immediate danger.
Captain, wouldn't stunning Mr. Spock break whatever control that he's under?
Unless we deal with the creature that's doing this, it would only provide temporary relief.
Why is this being done to Spock, Captain? What benefit does someone get from subjecting him to an emotion?
We've seen energy forms that feed on hatred. Why shouldn't there be some creatures that feed on happiness? An addict who must have happiness and who relies on others to fulfill an increasing need for more happiness.
The pod was constructed from a high-grade Jupiterium steel alloy, Captain. No signs of life, no signs of power. My guess was that it was irreparably damaged on entry into this dimension. The Vurian is lucky to be alive.
I shall try to tell you what I know. The emotions make it difficult to communicate. The creature that has done this is called the Savant. A being of great power that has transformed itself into a creature of living emotion. It can form a link with any creature with psionic abilities, including Vulcans. It taps into latent emotions and amplifies them. using them to increase its emotional stability.
What happens if it gets cut off from you and the Vuria?
It would be alone, but could cope. We enhance its enjoyment, but we are not essential to its survival. We're like a backup system. It relies on us for emotional support, but it could exist without us. I am summoning the savant. It may be in your best interest to communicate with it, Captain. I recommend you negotiate with Savant to escape this place. I am expendable.
Expendable? Spock, I see that these emotions have given you a sense of humor. If we can find a weakness, we might be able to take you with us. What can you tell us, Spock? Spock, can you negotiate with the Savant on our behalf? Spock, we found some very strange stones. What are they? Expendable?
As usual, your illogic is beyond comprehension, Captain. If I were human, I might find it delightful. Captain, I recommend you negotiate with Savant to escape this place. I am expendable.
Expendable? If we can find...
Its reliance on emotion is its main weakness. It is a creature of intense needs, and despite having millions of years of joy, it still retains a subconscious fear of losing its joy, of experiencing negative emotions. Captain,
Expendable? If we can... Spock, can you negotiate with the Savant on our behalf?
It refuses to deal with issues of logic and free will. It is not a violent creature, but is extremely fixated on its goals and believes what it does is morally justified. Captain, I recommend you negotiate with...
Expendable? If we can... Spock, can you... Spock, we found some very... Spock, can you... Spock, we've...
This entire pocket dimension is organic and psionic in order to maintain the Savant's life force. Negative emotions that are suppressed might be absorbed in mineral-like pockets beneath the surface of this dimension.
Captain, Mr. Spock is normal except for accelerated brain activity in the areas of his brain that control psionic abilities. He is currently in a mind meld.
I understand, Mr. Chekhov. It is quite logical.
I am the Savant. I wish you and all entities nothing but joy.
Who are you? Why do you ensnare others against their will? Release Spock at once and allow us to return to our ship. Who are you?
Once, eons ago, I was akin to you, a creature of flesh and pain. But I released myself from these bonds and became an entity of pure emotion. And I came to this place to find a shelter from the cares of the universe.
Greetings, Lord Kirk. I am Eminata. I regret the discomfort that I put you through on your ship. I wish only to preserve my joy by serving the Savant.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to help me, Eminata?
Possibly. I am aware of your ship's distress. I can bring it to the attention of the Savant. It may help.
Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock. What is the Savant? I would appreciate the Savant being informed. What is the Savant?
A being found that the physical form impaired his emotions, and so he discarded it as a lord discards his raiment. An entity of great benevolence and joy. Through my psionic talents, we are linked in ecstasy eternal.
Where is this Savant?
Everywhere. When one is an entity, one transcends the limitations of space, time, and dimension. But the Savant prefers to center its thoughts at the fountainhead, which is quite close.
I'll get them, Captain. I've put them in the pouch we found. Boy, am I getting an odd feeling from these stones.
The Savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. That makes you very important. Can you talk about the Savant? I will. You are the last of your...
Physical forms are unimportant. A species is only a similarity of material form, constructed from genetic instructions. Only emotions matter.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to help? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? How did you come to be here?
I was a lone soldier, fleeing the massacres that followed the Three Systems War. I was heavily outnumbered. In desperation, I attempted to use my son's gravity well to propel my ship into a high warp velocity, so I could escape the pursuit.
I remember reading about that war in my history class at the Academy.
I was warped into the Antares sector. I traveled through a dimensional rift into this place. The Savant sustained me and gave me joy where there was once only despair. I have been here ever since. The Savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. Can you talk about the Savant?
Nothing I can say will truly prepare you for what awaits.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? What were you doing on my ship? What were you doing on...
The Savant empowered me to remove any psionically adept being from your ship, and to prevent you from following him. It was not our intention to do you harm.
You misunderstand me. It is not my will to bring harm to any creature. I have taken two creatures that are without the most important thing in existence, joy, and given it to them in infinite variety and abundance. The Vurian was filled with despair at the death of her race. She was overwhelmed by sorrow and grief. I have healed her of these afflictions forever. As for the Vulcan, he has been conditioned to deny his emotions. I am bringing him in contact with a part of himself that will enhance his life. It is a gift of love.
You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent. Get a life. You can't just sit around feeling happy for eternity. What does that accomplish? Love? Spock doesn't want your gift. He doesn't need your gift. Release him and let us return to our ship. You have no right to inflict emotion.
I give them an eternity of joy. Is that not every creature's desire? How can granting a subliminal desire be beyond my rights?
That is the most arrogant piece of presumption I've ever heard. An eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no benefits from the people you hold prisoner? Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means?
Yes, Captain. For such a great good as that which I provide, the ends do justify the means. I will send you back to your own ship and give you safe passage through the Antares Rift if you wish. Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason? Release Spock, or we will be forced to destroy you. Not without Spock.
Captain, why do you begrudge your comrade's newfound happiness?
Because it was not his doing, nor his choice. Because he's being used by you and held against his will. He has duties and obligations, and you're keeping him from them. Because it was not his doing, nor...
There are many things in nature that are not desired, but bring good fortune. Be content with your comrade's serendipity, and ask for your safe return to your vessel.
Captain, the readings are incomprehensible. The tricorder has no idea what all these waveforms represent.
You disturb my rest. Fortunately, I am not alone in bliss. Do not use such a tactic again on me. I warn you. What is this? What am I feeling? What have you done?
What's the matter, Savant? Not feeling those good vibrations? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check. Is that sadness you're feeling, Savant? It couldn't be that those inferior humans have outwitted your great wisdom, could it? What's the matter, Savant? Life isn't all happy.
No. I have spent millions of years trying to escape the anguish. Misery is the destroyer of worthy souls, Captain, and you are destroying me.
I'm not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you. Free Spock and return us to our ship, and this will end. I didn't want to do this, but if I have to destroy you to free my friend, I will. I'm not destroying you. Your own unwilling...
Am I really such a monster that I deserve such pain?
You have lost respect for others, Savant. Everyone may have different goals, different ideals than you, and you have the right to pursue them. You need to respect their free will, even if it makes them miserable.
You do not understand me, Captain, but I am in no mood to argue. You and your scientist may be freed. Enjoy your universe, Captain Kirk.
Captain's log. We are out of the Antares Rift and are on our way to Starbase 8, where the Enterprise has extensive repairs scheduled. All crew members, including First Officer Spock, are safely aboard.
So, Spock, you mean you had an eternity of pure enjoyment and you gave it up?
Affirmative, Doctor.
That has to be the most illogical thing I've ever heard. Humans spend their entire lifetime dreaming of an eternity of pleasure.
As do animals in the field. Perhaps humans are meant to be better than that. Perhaps we should dream of greatness and not simple gratification.
Greatness is a term subject to individual interpretation, Captain. The savant viewed the pursuit of greatness as useless, because all great deeds and accomplishments are destined to be forgotten in cosmic terms.
A cosmic being thinks in cosmic terms, Spock. But somehow that philosophy overlooks a lot of life's little pleasures. There's just one thing that bothers me about the whole thing.
Really, Doctor?
Spock finally got to enjoy himself, and I wasn't there to see it. Now that's something worth remembering.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.